My name is Lori Torgerson White, and I am a doula, a childbirth educator, author of this book right here, Awaken Through Birth. I'm also a scientist, a biologist by training, and a mother of three. And I wanted to tell you a little bit more about why I do the work I do. So, when I was pregnant with my first, I was amazed by the magic that was happening inside of me. So the idea that I had this being, this human growing inside of me, and that I honestly didn't even need to do anything for that baby to grow other than, I ate healthy and I exercised, all of those sorts of things. But the fact that that was just happening inside of me was number one, magic. Like, wow, I can't even believe that that's possible when of course it is. That's how we're all here. But it felt so magical to me. And so that was the beginning of my journey into birth and me finding that the experience of growing a baby inside of me and of birthing that baby, and then honestly the experience of nurturing that baby as they become a toddler, and then as they become a school age kid, and eventually soon one more year and I'll have a teenager. That whole experience has been transformational for me, and it really started with the awe that I felt when I realized that that baby was growing inside of me. And that awe then was magnified, let's say, like by a million, when I was in labor and I felt the intensity of my uterus as it worked to, exert some crazy, insane pressure, not pain, but pressure to help my baby come earthside. And so, honestly, when I was in labor that first time, I mean, every time, but especially that first time, because it was the first time that I had felt this, and I felt the pressure of my uterus, like the fact that it knew what it was doing, that I wasn't voluntarily contracting those muscles, but that was just happening, and how strong my uterus felt. Like I felt at that time I felt like I could move a mountain with my uterus, to be honest. And feeling that kind of power, in addition to like the magic that I was bringing a new human to this earth, that power that I felt, the awe that I felt, has has powered me on my way to become the person that I am today. And so I'm telling you this because I want you to know. So all through that time, then from 13 years ago when I was pregnant to now, I've been on a journey of learning everything that I can about pregnancy and birth and parenting. And I'm so excited to share that knowledge with you. So I have a new workshop. It's called Awaken. It's a heart-centered workshop to awaken the parents inside of you. And my first session starts next week. I have another session starting in May. And the topics that I'm going to cover, this isn't going to be your hospital childbirth class. It's not going to be exactly like a hypnobirthing or a Lamaze class. It's going to be sort of a holistic coaching experience. So the first module, we're going to work on learning everything we can about the power of your mind and the mind-body connection and the role that that plays in birth. And then we are going to go through and dig deep to find out what are your fears, and let's go ahead and work through those fears, because we know that fear will slow down your labor and fear will make your birth feel painful when it doesn't have to feel that painful. And after that, we will have a module where we really just talk about the nuts and bolts of birth, where we talk about how to create a birth plan and choose your provider, and the different types of coping mechanisms that are available for you to cope with that intense pressure, and the role of a doula. All of that will happen in your fourth or your third week. And into week 4. So after we learn the nuts and bolts, then we'll really dive into creating your birth plan so that you are prepared to go into birth and be transformed. And then week 5, we'll really practice finding your voice so that you can advocate for yourself and you can advocate for your child. So this is going to be the first time that you get to advocate for your child. All right, one of the first times. Maybe you've done it during your pregnancy, but this is going to be a really big time for you to advocate for the type of birth that you want to bring your child into this world. And then that will prepare you for the type of parent you want to be. And so we'll explore that together. The workshop is evidence-based and intuitive. So my hope is that, so I mentioned I'm a scientist, a biologist, as well as a doula. And so I've gone and compiled all of the evidence for you. And I want you, though, then to take that evidence and make the choices that are good for you. Go to your own intuition. So you don't have to have the birth that I had, or the birth that your mom had, or the birth that your friend had. You should plan for the birth that you want. But I want you to be able to make an informed choice and really, really dive deep and listen to your intuition. So there are still a few spots for next week. If you want to register for that, it starts Monday, April 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. If you aren't able to make that one, we have another workshop starting in May. So please take a look. LoriTheDoula.com is my website. You can follow me on Instagram at Awaken Through Birth, or on YouTube here at Awaken Through Birth. I'm so excited to work with you. Have a wonderful day.